So come on in, take a sip, let's wind down. It's a Thursday. We missed hump day altogether because I was doing an offsite and time got away from me. And for that, mea culpa. But it was nice to use some of my vacation time from this part-time job on it, just on occasion. But today we're having a 2021 Pinot Noir, and this is from the Costoluto winery, and this is a Pfalzwein, and it's a Pinot Noir, and as you can see from the pour, it is it's very, very pale, lovely on the nose. There's some pepper in there that's kind of hanging around the cassis and some of the red tree fruits, specifically cherry, right? Maybe some apple in there, but it's quite lovely on the nose. But that spice, that pepper is just pretty amazing. And this is fabulous. And I gotta tell you, the label kind of stood out to me when I saw it. I mean, Grillgott is what it says. Grillgott. So I'm assuming the grill god. And it says bist und bleibst. So kind of like, be and believe, so to speak, and depending on how you want to translate that. But what a wonderful wine. How refreshing. Tannins, non-existent, very soft, smooth finishing. Oh yeah, this is one that Shotzi and I will both love. So it's always good to have that here. That's great. Fabulous wine. And so, yeah, yesterday we went to Regensburg just to have like team building exercises, right? Have an offsite with the quality and patient safety team for our region, and we had a really good time. Shotzi came along, and it was just fun. So I was surrounded by nurses, and it was great. But then, I looked at the time, and I realized, I'm not going to get home until probably 9 o'clock, and that's about when it was. So it was just a late day. But anyway, I guess I needed the day off, but we're not going to let that happen too terribly much. So we'll just go ahead and hop into our grid and see what we've got here for today. So we got a Daniel Bodily construction, of course, edited by Will Shorts, and we got a Thursday, June 12th, 2025 construction. And amazingly enough, that means tomorrow, Friday the 13th, is our 34th anniversary. Shotzi and I, 34. And we're going to celebrate it on Saturday in Munich, if we anglicize that. So that should be fun. Looking forward to it, like really looking forward to it. So let's go ahead and hop into our grid and see what we've got today. I'm always got to keep in mind, that we always know the kind of nefarious antics that the constructors are up to on Thursdays and turning into quite often Sundays as well. So let's see what we've got. So we've got Actress Green of Casino Royale, and is that Eva? I don't know for sure. McGregor, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that would be Ewan. That's very nice. And then if we have a V here, output from Blizzard Entertainment. And I do believe they make video games, so that would make sense for us. So get that in there. And now we have our things, I think an Eve or an Eva over here. Temporarily established panel. I'm going to go with an ad hoc something, but what in 5 letters could that be as far as our panel? I don't know yet. 6th word in the Gettysburg Address, 407 years ago. It is. I thought so. They had a G and only 3 letters, but just want to make sure. Epiphanic moments, maybe ahas. Aha. Yeah, okay, I see now. Mini brawl. Correspondence, fréquemment. Oh, okay. Correspondance, fréquemment. So maybe amis, French for friends. So frequent correspondence, frequent pen pals, people you write to. So she was named the U.S. Soccer Female Player of the Year 5 years in a row, and that would be Ham. And, okay, so we have a committee which we're going to need 2 T's and 2 E's. That might help settle this mini brawl situation, which could be a cité. So let's go ahead and do that rebus. We'll put 2 T's in there and call that good. And I think we're gonna have to do the same thing down here with this for visionaries, could be seers. So we'll put our 2 E's in. No, okay, there we go. I didn't mean to, that's the one thing I cannot stand about doing the rebus. I guess I'm gonna have to just click out of it. I didn't mean to send that up. So Excel function, no, maybe it's not a set. Maybe this is a set 2, and here we might have seers. Let's take a look. So I think this is a sort data for Excel function, which makes sense. One of the few things I can do in Excel is sort A through Z. But then that question it always asks, do you want to expand the collection or, the selection? I'm like, no, I would love for you to just jumble up my entire database where it's completely useless to me. Yeah, expand the selection, all right? I mean, if I'm sorting by birthdays, I don't want to lose the name that's attached to the birthday. I mean, like, this just makes no sense, which is ridiculous. Big thing in California, how about Big Sur? Some hot spots. Tubs? A tub is in a bathtub, maybe? Fans. Blank Agnew, vice president, resigned in 73, and that was Spiro. So I don't know. I don't know what fan starting with a B could be. I guess that's probably pretty simple to everybody else, but it's been a long day for me, so I don't really know. A Pulitzer winner, Ferber, and I do believe her name is Edna, but we need to check it because I don't know. And we're missing a rebus here though. Ad hoc committee would be 2 C's. Principle of parsimony, philosopher is Occam, as in Occam's razor. So nice. Okay, so let's add another C in there. Let's get our M, check ourselves, of course, because parsimony. I'm not an expert. Oscar VIPs, how about MCs? Is there anyone besides Jimmy Kimmel for that? I mean, I don't know. Have one's feet up, maybe. Adds power to as an engine, maybe soups up? I'd feel so much better if I could get some opera glasses for my darling bride so she'd be checking my fat finger work. Exemplar of excellence. Stone used in ancient Greek jewelry. I'm assuming we're talking about an agate. Oh, we get the name. Owned up. So we probably got fest there because I think this is going to be have one's feet up, maybe loaf. But I don't know what we've got going on as far as our double whatevers. And so that's kind of crazy. So low pressure indicator. Is this a T playground? Yeah, it could be a stage because, it says playground with a question mark. Do laps could be to swim. They draw people. Ticked off could be irate. I don't know about these others. We'll see. Weeping giant. Well, I bet this is a willow. So we're going to have 2 L's in there maybe. So you can go anywhere with one of these. So this looks like an all access pass. So we've got a lot. We've got some rebuses today. Yeah, right? I mean, that's the thing, but I think this might just be a tire gauge. It doesn't look like it's going to require any rebus activity. I think we've got a loaf here. So owned up, so we got fest here. I think we can, I didn't mean to put 2 zeros in. I think we've got a fest, maybe 2 S's here. Briefly experienced with of, so maybe got a taste. Okay, there we go. So yeah, owned up, I think it's gonna be fest. Let's check our UED here. Told you're on, for example, maybe queued. So exemplar of excellence, class act. So we're gonna have 2 S's here, 2 S's there. Pickup could be to get. They draw people. Got two L's up here. Somebody's a W. Sheep. Sheep. Use. Yeah, I gotta figure out what I'm saying there. So they draw people. All mechas. So it's mechas. Two C's there. Okay. So let's get to work on our rebuses. So we got an L.
Just one word.
Yeah, we got an LL there. We got a CC. Got and no, I meant to hit the rebus button. Mea culpa. Mea culpa. SS. And then another SS here. What a fun grid, though. Really, that's not terrible. Motor oil brand. How about STP? Blank white. Light bulb specification. Maybe soft white? Could be. And what you have to pony up to play. And I'm assuming we're shooting for maybe polo. Tick off could be... if that's a P, that might be a double E for peeve. Wister, the so-called father of Western fiction. I do believe that's Owen. I could be wrong on that. I mean, guarded. Well, I don't know. I think this is obviously going to be polo. It looks like polo to me coming up. So let's see what we got going on here. Gridiron game for young tykes. So I'm assuming we're shooting for pee-wee. So we're going to have two E's here. And we'll have two E's here. And this pea edible part of okra would be the pod. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know what it is about okra, but I just cannot stand it. And that's awful because it's... I have a mental block on it, but it's always just like, it's awful. It's like slick slime stuff that even, I don't care if it's even deep fried. Then if it's deep fried, then it's not any good for you anyway. I don't know. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't even imagine. So, just say no to, perhaps deny, and guarded could be leery. So tick off peeve. And then leery, so risks and interceptions, say maybe overthrows. It's called a Hail Mary, I think. Cries of wonder. So then we got football and Ryder Capote to friends. And by the way, I am an absolute charmed, bedazzled, in a way, intellectually smitten follower, fan of the late, great Truman Capote. And I'd have given anything to have known him. I was 12 when he died, so I probably couldn't have, but under any circumstances. But to be able to say, True, I have a question for you, True. And it reminds me how much I miss Philip Seymour Hoffman, who did, in my opinion, the best portrayal of Capote in ever, John, in ever. What do you think, Bob? How do we do with that? Well, we're not done with the puzzle yet, so. Brings an action against, maybe sues. But I just think Truman Capote was, oh, man. So we got ourselves a football here. Let's get our O's in there. And it looks like we're going to have the orchestra tuner, which is almost always the oboe. And blank are like sausages. It's better not to see them being made. And that's quote attributed to Otto von Bismarck. And I think he's talking about the legal system, so laws. So I guess we have two L's here. So dining places could be halls. And I think we're making good short order of this. What's going to really probably hem us up is if I skipped one of them or if I just all out fat fingered something. And that's altogether possible with this much activity involving my fingers on these keys. Physics or chem, some sciences, city that's an anagram of Salem. Well, good. It could be La Maze, we'd be missing an A. But who knows? We'll figure it out. So I think this is a subject. The more I think about it, so I'm looking at these downs here. This has got to be an HBO Max, right? NBA great Hakeem, who is one of only 4 players ever to achieve a 50 across, and that would be a quadruple double. I'm not a big basketball fan, but if you can pull off a quadruple double, I'm paying attention. I mean, you know, pretty bright-eyed and bushy-tailed like, to be honest with you. So hold your horses could be a weight. Tuscaloosa's tied to fans. Roll Tide. I had a nickel every time I heard that. I have a pocket full of them. I have a collection of pockets full of them. I might even be wealthy. They might be white or naked. That what an odd clue. I guess we're talking about lies. High point of a trip to Italy. We've got an E and 4 letters. I mean, if it's got something to do with Italy and it's 4 letters, just put Etna in. If it's got 4 letters to do with a school in England, just put Eton in, right? More often than not, you're going to be okay. But we're going to stick with Etna today. Hold your horses and be weight. Rainbow to some could be an omen. I mean, how about Olajuwon? I mean, I could have put that in. I guess I just wasn't. I don't know. I'm really nervous about these rebuses, is what it is. And again, I have to ask the age-old question coming from Christopher specifically: why are they not rebuy? I mean, I feel like if I know Reba McEntire and I have another friend whose name is Reba, I should be able to say I know several Reba. You know, like Quanta, right? You know. I mean, the singular, you know, the quantum, more than one quanta. I don't know. There's just certain rules that we think we should be abiding by.
Reba. I know several Rebas.
I know, I'm just saying, but if I was going to use that Latin, you know, that ending, you know, for the plurals, I could just say Reba. I know several Reba, right? You know, but if I own 3 Lexus, I should be able to say I have 3 Lexi. Should be able to say that. And Rebuses just sounds lazy. I just don't like it. I don't know. Farmer's Squeeze. Guess we're talking about an udder, which brings a whole new image to that farmers only dating site. City that's an anagram of Salem. How about Selma? And cut and trim could be lean. Handle as questions could be to field. As some hot spots. Yeah, I think these are tubs. And fans could be buffs. And I guess I wasn't even thinking about that word. And that's sad, actually, because it's a good word. Buffs, mavens, admirers, you know, all kinds of stuff. Stands has made it into our working lexicon these days. It's kind of fun. The Titanic disaster partly inspired its invention, and that would be sonar. Very cool. Now I can just hope we didn't screw something up that's just dumb. Pithy remark. Okay. A pithy remark. Okay. Sephora competitors, probably Ulta, I'm assuming. And they're all over Europe. I guess I haven't seen any in the States. But I'd have to be there. I'd have to be there, right? And shopping in a mall to see one, I'm assuming.
I haven't seen Ulta here.
Oh, they're everywhere here. We just passed by 2 the other day in Stuttgart.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think. Maybe I'm thinking something else. I don't know. If you haven't seen one, I'm starting to wonder. Yeah, I'm starting to think if you haven't seen one, then I haven't seen one. And I've been thinking I've been seeing them, and I haven't.
I think there's something else.
So a pithy remark could be a quip. I guess that's a pretty good definition. Leg, fibula, arm would be the ulna. Breaking a tie informally. How about in overtime? Crowning could be a top. But that's not what comes to my mind. P in the NATO alphabet would be papa, so a top, and I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it, but how do we do, Bob? You know, it just seemed like everything came to us, and it wasn't terrible, but you know, when you start getting that involved in you know, inputting data into these grids, I feel like I'm always setting myself up for some sort of failure just because I'm such a sloppy typist. And that's terrible too, because I really am pretty much a perfectionist when it comes to writing, and which makes it very difficult when I'm trying to reply to multiple, you know, comments, which I absolutely love reading and replying to the comments. But then sometimes if I'm walking, or if it's a Saturday morning, I'm out walking around or something like that, you know, and I think, oh, I'll go ahead and do these, and I'll just dictate them. And then I have to like stop somewhere and actually go through, because Siri, this young woman sitting right in front of me, perched there ready to answer at my beck and call, sometimes misunderstands me. So that's how that goes. But at the same time, I think the ad hoc committee, and I think it's interesting too, that I just completely dropped that double C there. I just was ad hoc, and then I was focusing on the rest. And so talk about totally into my own little realm of confirmation bias, right? I mean, I was done with the ad hoc and then committee, and I had to fill out the rest of it. And so I thought this was fantastic, the all access pass. And I've been using that term, an all access pass, to describe where I thought the worst people in the world, the most evil people in the world, might go when they die, right? You know, not only that, but like, you know, it might not even be enough for them. They might have an all access pass, you know, to the seventh realms, right? You know, to really no level of hell is going to be too bad for them, right? You know, they get it the whole way through. And so I love seeing that come through. And I don't know if I've ever seen it in the grid before, but it stood out to me today. And of course, the Pee Wee football. I mean, it was just a really class act here, straight up. All right, you know, I know that was one of our answers here at 27 across, right? You know, exemplar of excellence. But that's exactly what this Thursday grid is. And so very well done, Daniel Bodily. Bravo. And as far as where Ulta's at, I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. It seems like I've seen them here, but when Shotzi says they're not, I have to go with her.
I'm just saying I haven't seen them.
I mean, I'm saying if she hasn't seen them, then I probably haven't seen them.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
No, maybe altogether possible, but I doubt it. So, again, fantastic. Though, one thing I do need to know, and I do need to learn from this, is I love seeing, by the way, I love seeing Hakeem Olajuwon in here, but the orchestra tuner, I need to know, that's not, I mean, that's an alto oboe, I think, but I'm not sure. Alto, tenor, I really want to know that, though, because I felt like I should know that. I don't conduct orchestras, but one day I'm going to. One day I'm going to have access to an actual symphony orchestra for an hour, and I'm going to conduct, I've been practicing for years, I'm going to conduct Paul, well, the song is called Love is Blue. Paul Marriott, but the song is Love is Blue, and I am going to one day conduct that, and I will be the happiest camper around. We'll bring down our bannière d'adieu, and I just want to say thank you all so very much. The likes are incredible. To take the extra time to like the video on whatever device you're on does an awful lot for the channel. And of course, subscribing does as well. And so if you have it in your heart to make a deeper commitment to this relationship, I would appreciate that very much. You can also use the super thanks to buy me a glass of wine or an espresso or a new $37,000 Chopard, which I would wear gladly. But I just appreciate the support. The channel's just growing like leaps and bounds, and it's just such a fabulous thing to see. So thank you for all of that, including the validation and the constant support from our community. It's a beautiful thing. Until we see you tomorrow, ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss, Servus, Grüß Gott, ciao, Cin-Cin. Be well out there. Try to be nice to strangers behind you in line, and we will see you on